Özgün Yılmazok. Welcome to 5-Minute Art. The painting of this episode is from the famous French Impressionist painter Claude Monet. The waterlily pond, Green Harmony. Monet was the driving force behind the Impressionist painters who mostly painted outdoors, reflecting the momentary effects of light and color. Monet specialized in painting en plein air, which means open-air painting in French. He dedicated his last 40 years to paint from his house at Giverny. In Giverny, his garden with the adjoining meadow and pond was transformed into a paradise filled with many plants, including willows, irises, and water lilies imported from Japan. He also had a Japanese footbridge over the water lily pond. After a while, the water lilies in the garden became Monet's sole source of inspiration. Monet has dedicated the last 30 years of his life to paint water lilies in Giverny. He has produced more than 250 water lily paintings in his lifetime. In this version of water lilies, we see the pond covered with several groups of water lilies, with the Japanese footbridge located over the pond. The background is covered with different trees, mostly willows, surrounding the garden. Despite the footbridge indicates a level, there is no clearly visible horizon, and the sky is completely blocked by the trees. That is a pretty non-traditional landscape painting. By eliminating the horizon and the sky, Monet chooses to focus on the pond. The water in the pond is actually hard to perceive too, since the surface of the pond is covered with water lilies and the reflections of the trees. Hence, the pond becomes a translucent surface covered in green, so as the background, making the whole painting a green harmony as stated in its name. No details stand out in the painting. It is only the water body, the plants on it, and the reflections of trees created as impressions on the viewer. With the dappled sunlight and its orchestration of color, tone, and texture, this piece exemplifies Monet's approach to painting. Monet expresses his sensations and observations at that location, at that specific moment, as impressions to the viewer. In order to achieve this effect, Monet uses numerous short, rapid brushstrokes and touches or dabs of pure paint. These brushstrokes create the water's flower-laden surface. In order to indicate the textures and shapes of the foliage, paint has been applied layer on layer. The curve of the Japanese footbridge bisects the painting. Its mauve and green lines harmonize with the pond below and the foliage above. We need to make a constant visual and mental effort to piece together the landscape suggested in the painting. By getting closer to the details of the brushstrokes, we cannot identify the shapes of the objects. By only distancing ourselves from the painting and squinting our eyes a little, we can see the full impression of the garden. Obsessed with his garden, Monet would visit it several times a day to study and observe the changing daylight's effects on the plants and the water. He continued painting the pond and the water lilies until he died. His compositions moved from impressionist to more abstract towards the end. Now it is the end of our walk through Monet's fantastic garden. See you next time in another analysis. Don't forget to share your thoughts and questions in the comments section. Thank you.